All right. All right, y'all. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another, I call it an episode. Johnson Gannon here. I'm just looking at my Wi-Fi strength. I'm on a wired hookup here, so it's kind of in the middle. Wish it was more, but it's okay. Either way, we're moving on. We're pushing on. So yesterday morning, I got this upper portion done. Bum, bum, bum. Check it out. And then yesterday afternoon, got the submachine gun done. I can still do a little bit more on that, but we're going to be working on this arm here for today, for this section. I'm just going to do it in sections because that's how I roll. So, without further ado, I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome. And it is Thursday. Let me see here. Let me pick out what actual brushes I need. Gosh, I forget which one is my new one and which one isn't. Okay, this one isn't. This one's not my new one. Good to know. But honestly, for this arm, I'm probably not going to really use the brush too much, but just a little bit. So let's start, shall we? So to walk you through my thought process, we've got the strict kind of like rendering part, you know, but this is like kind of dropping shadows and stuff. I've already got the veins down. That was a little thicker than I wanted. But yeah, so here would be a shadow under this tricep. So I'm thinking in shadow mode currently, and then see with the brush, you could just get that nice thick to thin. Dun, dun, dun. You don't have to go over it a million times with a micron. You could just throw down a nice brush line. So yeah, and then yesterday, lots of hatching, some cross hatching, but lots of hatching. Going very old school on this bad boy. We got the creator's outlet. What's going on, man? Welcome. Hell. What's going on? Welcome. All right. So, and I can't forget the veins. Kind of forgot about the veins yesterday after the fact, but it's all right. You can do veins with whiteout. It's all good. So we're going to draw these here and a little nub down there. Just kind of play with that. Let's see here. So, gonna figure out how I'm going to do that there. We'll work on that. There's this nice little pocket here where under the muscle, kind of like a little empty kind of space. You can kind of feel it down there. Sometimes you can see it really well, actually. It's like a flat space right in here underneath these muscles before you get to the elbow. But let's see here. We're going to put another muscle here. This is just where you just put like as many muscles as you possibly can layered on top of one another. It just looks cool. It's not anatomically correct necessarily, but there's lots of muscles in this area. Connecting over here to your phalanges, you know what I'm saying? So you just kind of just put them down here. You want this area to look cool and fun and interesting, and you could put lots of shadow if you want. So I am going to have to white out some of this area for the veins, but I do want a nice dark spot right here before I get into more hatching down below. Just feather that out because I don't know what to do there yet. Just block that in. It's kind of like blocking in shapes and shadows right now. So if I'm thinking of the forearm in more of a block kind of way, you know, kind of think of Here's your elbow, forearm, or elbow, excuse me, elbow, shoulder. Here's your shoulder, elbow, forearm. You can kind of draw straight lines for each of these, right? A little bit thicker up here. And so if you think of it in like blocks, right, you're going to have shading down here underneath. So I could have all below here in shadow, right? And then you can kind of add your muscles onto here. You got this muscle, helps with the bending of the elbow, right? Then you got your, this is your deltoid, bicep, tricep, and then, you know, your hand here. So when you're kind of adding in all these muscles, I just kind of go darker on the bottom, and then I'll have hatching down here. Just so you see what I'm thinking here. Little tricep there. But if you want to do a cool deltoid, just do like a heart, and then just kind of cut that heart up like this. And then, so that's what I'm going to be working on here. And then I'll shade this deltoid here. And I'm actually going to do 2 areas of shading. So I'm going to do here, which will be dark, and then shade that on that side. So the light coming here, so dark here. But then I have this nice cut right here. So what I'm going to do is have these 2 connecting, and I'm going to do like something like this. So I'm going to have 2 parts to this coming together. Something like that. That's what I'm thinking. As long as that works in my head here, that's what we're going to do. Something like that. The not problem, but I just got to figure out how they're going to connect and come together there in a nice orderly fashion. Just walking you through my mental state here. And then same thing over here. And kind of like I did on this arm, you know, I have, this is like, you got most light here. It doesn't go straight across, but you know, you got these different muscles. So you got shadow, shadow, shadow. So everything below this kind of middle area, that's what you kind of fade down. So you'll have nice underlighting, you know, and colors and all that good stuff. And then, you know, shading underneath these muscles here. So, but yeah, so then you just have this area connecting here. All right. So then this will be dark, not super dark, but a little bit. And then you can like kind of fade this down. Here, fade down. This is usually what I just kind of wing, but I'll try not to wing it today. Just kind of throw some ideas in here, and then do dark to light and the cross hatching. Because what all right, my problem, not problem, but pencils to inks, it's much easier for me. Like I'm not gonna like follow each individual line. Like I can't do that, right? So I just kind of gotta just wing it. So I think that's why it's like I don't want to throw down these lines and then my brain wants to follow these lines, right? But it's not gonna happen. So I just need to like do my best to get that concept down on the page. So if that makes any kind of sense, it's just the way my brain works. I'm gonna feather this up. It's good to have a plan, but always be ready for that plan to just kind of go out the window. You know what I mean? So this is what's going to be catching the light here. So here's my highlight, and then all this is going to be shading, dark to light. So kind of like something like that. Got this little area here, a little area here. This will be fine lines. So that's what I'm going for. See how well it comes out. Check it out. Bam. And again, that's just a sketch, but that's what I'm trying for here. Add a little more veins, I'll pick this apart a little bit, add a little bit more definition of these veins here. All right, let's do this. I don't love this area because I got two light sources kind of like converging, the underlighting, and then this side is kind of catching this muzzle flare light. So what I could do is, where's my eraser? There you are. So I could thin out this part here. Maybe not so crazy. Have it just be a light intersection, and just kind of fade that a little bit. I don't know, something like that. We'll see what happens. Once the ink goes down, who knows what's going to happen. But and then too, I like, especially with hatching, it's so much easier to just do your hatching and then do the whiteout for the veins, rather than, because I'll do this and I'll try and do the hatching lines in between the veins, but then it doesn't look like it's matching up, and so you kind of run into a little bit of that looks kind of wonky. So I'm just gonna add my hatching there and not worry about the veins, but I am gonna draw some more here just to kind of get them down, and we can add a little bump there because it's going into this muscle. All right, those nice cuts in the muscle. All right, y'all. How you doing? Happy Thursday. Hope your day's going well. I got a little date this morning with my wife, which was nice. We went out to coffee. Got a breakfast burrito. It was nice. It was nice. So it was good to spend some quality time together without the kiddos going crazy in the background. You can actually focus on one another. Always a good thing. So that was fun. Then we went to Costco. Got some stuff. And yeah. So it's been a good morning. It's been a good morning. All right, so that's how that worked out there. Let's go like this. We're going to go... See? And I ended up dissecting it anyway. It doesn't work wonderfully, so I'm going to need to finagle that so it has a better look there. So I think I'm going to do some more cross-hatching. And since this is kind of intersecting with this, it'll work just as well if I kind of add some additional shading there. That'll work. All right, and then let's see. That works. Let's do a little bit in this. Something like that. Don't know if I executed that perfectly, but now I get to live with it because it's down. No changing it now. No changing now. So I'm at peace with it. All right. All right, let's get the shading on the veins here. I'm going to break my rule, and I'm going to go around the veins here. Which is all right. It's all right. We're just going to go with this here. Here we're not going to break the rule. We're going to go right through the veins. So it looks consistent. All right, and then we're gonna come in here. And we're gonna feather this out, make that a little darker. It's a little darker. So when you cross the lines, you're actually making it darker, right? So I could do this a million times and make it really dark, but that's the idea. Just cross hatching creates darker areas. And you don't have to do the the diagonal lines. You could do, perpendicular lines if you wanted. There's no rule of thumb to how you do it, but it's just whatever you like and, whatever works for you. Sorry, I'm in like art teacher mode. Let me tell you everything I'm doing. But hopefully it benefits somebody. All right, we're gonna cut this over here. Nice cut there. All right. All right. So I'm kind of just going to repeat this pattern, right? So dark, nice and dark, and then I'm going to fade it down with the hatching. Just going to keep up that same pattern because you kind of want it to be uniform, right? You don't want to have all kinds of. If I start doing hatching one way over here and then I do hatching differently over here, it's going to kind of look like wonky. Like, why'd you change course in the middle of your drawing, bro? So I'm not going to start doing perpendicular stuff over here when I've done it one way over here. So I'm trying to just keep that same pattern, keep it uniform, make it look good. And yeah. Okay, let's see here. Let's move this over a little bit. All right. And I'm trying to keep in mind how many lines I draw for the hatching. Because that makes a difference just on how it looks, how much light you're letting in on the bottom there. The more lines you draw, the darker it's going to get, the lighter it'll look. So I'm trying to keep it light up here. So I'm trying to think like in gradients, right? So I want less up here and then more on the bottom because it's going to get darker down there. So like right about this area, I want it to start getting dark. So 1, 2, and then just kind of from here on out, darker. I'm going to feather this up. Feather that up, and then let's go nice elbow. And then in this area, you know, the good old little feathering effect. I don't even know what you call that, but, you know, it's one way to do it. I've been doing these kind of like big wispy lines, which I normally don't do. I kind of like doing these more, but just because it's a bigger area, I'm doing these kind of bigger lines. So, I'm going to go little to big, back to small again. It's gonna alter that there. Right. Throw some there. Just as long as he looks cool and muscular. That's all I'm going for, man. Does he look cool? And, you know, so throwing in these lines coming through. All right, now on the bottom, I want to do dark to light, light to dark. So lighter on the bottom. All right. Doesn't have to be perfect, but again, you're kind of seeing that differentiation between the light and the dark areas there. Some more feathering. Now, watch these veins pop out. It's going to be phenomenal. Watch this. So, I'm just going to make these veins pop. Do another little one there. Popping out there. Something like that. So now that's that little bit of white out, and boom, there you go. There was somewhere else I was doing white out. Oh, it was on this. I ended up fixing that, but I needed to go back in, and I did the whiteout, and then I was trying to ink those lines, but the whiteout was still wet, so I did go back and fix that. So we're good there. Okay. Should I add some more shading here? I can. Because you got all these lines, so now I'm just going to try and mimic these muscles underneath the cloth here. So get the idea, it's coming through a little bit, popping through a little bit. And then go a little darker down here. So I'm just going to actually just add another layer. And just doing that is going to make this all darker. All right. Cool. Still got to do this hand. I need to do a little bit more work on this gun. I like some more dust and scratches. Add some more whiteout stuff. I'm going to add more areas of black, actually. We got a comment from Darmax. Still very good with the 90s ink. Yep. Love the 90s. Love that West Coast style. It speaks to me. It speaks to me. All right. So let's see here. Let me see. So this I'm going to bring up to here. That's in line. This up to here. I'm going to bring that up to here. And then this we're going to bring up even more, I feel like. Just it's on a different plane. So we're gonna go bigger there. I just want some more darkness on this gun. I don't know why, but like guns in like silhouette just kind of like make them pop more, and I want this bad boy to pop. So add more blacks. One black here. There we go. I think just some things look better in silhouette, you know? It's like, if it's something like easily recognizable, like a gun, it's like, psh, I'm just going full black, man. You know, whoever's looking at it's going to recognize that's a weapon. But it just, you know, I think for your mind, it's just like super easily recognized. And then it's like, boom, gun. All right, let me now focus on the rest of this image. I don't know. It's just what my brain does anyway. All right, let's go with, what did I want to do? I wanted to do dust and scratches. Dust and scratches. So I'm going to get my 05 Jelly Roll pen, and I'm going to pick out some dust and scratches. X's work good. You could do a little like X pattern. You can do all kinds of stuff here. Just kind of works. More straight lines, whatever, but just so you know that this gun gets a lot of use. It's been through battle, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm going for there. All right. I think that's good. Don't have to go too crazy. You just want to do a little bit. Oh, and then on here, kind of cut these through. This should be nice and scratched up. But let me go on here. I'm just going to add some feathering here. Just a little bit. Add some more here. Something like that. I can do a little bit more up here. There we go. Some additional lines just because. Additional scratches just because. It looks cool. Some extra shading over here. All right, man. That's it. That's done. All right. All right, so let's go in here. Time to do some hand shading, which is always difficult, right? You've got lots of veins in your hand, right? So you want to give like the, and right, they cast a lot of shadows, right? The bones, and then you got the veins. So you're kind of trying to get that all in there. So makes it a little more difficult because you're not only drawing the bones, but now you're drawing the veins over the bones. But same kind of idea as the arm stuff. So I'm just going to pick out the veins, keeping the shadow in the same place. You don't want to flip flop, right? And do the shadow on the left side now. You want to keep it all uniform. But yeah. And then, you know, a technique you could do is do very fine lines on the hands. And then when you get to the, you know, the black glove, you're doing like really darker shadows versus, you know, kind of finer shadows on the hand. So it's one way to set it apart. So that way you can tell there's a difference between the texture. You know, that's always a big thing if you're drawing. It's like you want people to know, all right, this is different. You know, it's basically like, here's an arm, here's some bands on an arm, right? And just the difference. Different inking will show different texture and all that good stuff. So just a good rule of thumb. Textures. Just kind of. So I got like more finer lines on here versus there. It's different. Shading's going a different direction too. That helps. All right, I'm gonna bust out my pencil so I can kind of get an idea of what I'm gonna do here. Where is my pencil? Let's do this one. It's a good old mechanical pencil. This thing is cool, but it's really heavy. It's like lots of metal. Kind of cramps up my hand after a while. But bones, 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 veins, veins. I don't really want to draw too many veins underneath the glove. It's gonna be thicker. You wouldn't really notice. So kind of should do a little less detail on the gloves. That might be a good differentiator too. More blacks, less detail. Got the undershading over here. Let's go like something like that. You know, I could do something like that where the shading is going across, and then just use my eraser or white out, right? And then just kind of pick out the bones and stuff. That would work too. But then also, do I want to keep this, right? These lines are going left to right. These are going up and down. So if I keep the left and right, that's another good indicator. Oh, look, that's more forearm, more hand, etc. So maybe I should do that. Let's go with that. Like that. Something like that. I'm going to use my 5. Let's do 5. Something like that. Something like that. Kind of works. Let's go a little. Something like that. There's this one artist. I'm not gonna remember his name, but I saw him on DeviantArt. But like his shading was kind of like this, but like all over. It was like amazing. It's kind of like one of those guys just like spend so much time on one piece, and it's just like, gosh. Again, I'm not going to remember his name. It was a really long time ago, but we ended up exchanging some like art. And so he sent me some scans of some stuff he did. And it's, so his lines were very much more like I was talking about, like perpendicular, like straight up and down, lots of lines like this. But oh my gosh, like just crazy, phenomenal, cool. I think it was a Punisher image he sent me. A Punisher, maybe something else. I probably have it somewhere. I got to track it down. I have a portfolio of just, other people's artwork I've collected over the years. It's under my desk. I should do a cool video on that. That'd be fun. Show you guys all the prints and different stuff I've gathered over the years doing conventions or whatever. This guy I didn't even meet. It was just like I found his stuff on DeviantArt, and I don't remember how we got in touch, but it was like, dude, love your stuff. Maybe he asked if we could trade or something. I don't know, but it was cool. It was cool. Dun, dun, dun. I've got some Ace Continuado art over here from San Diego Comic-Con last year. Not this year, but last year, that he gave me. He had some like pencil scans of his pages, and I was like, dude, can I check those out? And he just gave them to me for free. It's like, dude, thanks, man. So as an artist, I'm always checking out other people's stuff, what they're doing, and just like when someone does some good work, man, you just want to suck it up and check it out and just take what you can from it. And man, how can I do cool stuff? How can I do better with what I do? Always be in learning mode. Okay, so I'm gonna make this a little thicker, right? Because there should be shadow there. It's like over the skin, so I'm gonna do that. Do this, kind of double up the line, so that'll be cool. So there you go. But I'm gonna do. Let's see. I'm gonna add a little bit more depth here. A little more depth here, just so I could really sell the, lighter, darker. I'm gonna make this a little darker. Let's see here. Just gonna carry that across here. In other news, I guess I can share this now. I've got Dan Dale working on a Shadow Sentry #3 cover for me. He's working on that, and it should be done soon. He showed me some. He sent me like 4 or 5 different thumbnails, and I had to choose between one of them. Woo, that was hard. This stuff is awesome. But that's all I'll say for now. I'm not going to show you, but it's a sick layout. It's really cool. So Dan Dale, if you're not familiar with him, check him out. He's on the tweeters. He's a good artist, and I'm excited about that. All right, so we got the arm done, got the hand done. I'm gonna throw down a little bit more knuckleage here. Make these pop a little bit more. There we go here. Man, you could really get into the nitty-gritty, man, throwing down details and stuff. I'm gonna try not overdo it. Sometimes when you do super detailed areas in a drawing that are maybe not as detailed as others, like your eye is drawn to that space. So I don't want to overdo it here, but this is really detailed compared to the rest. It's not bad, but it's just like it's heavily detailed. Again, uniformity is important in your piece. So if I start getting super detailed here, I might have to go get detailed everywhere else. But I got some more work to do on his face, which I'll probably add some more hatching and stuff. So let's do that next. That'll be fun. Get more free practice. Okay. All right, let's work on his face a little bit more. I got to do this area here. Let me clean that up a little bit here. Add the good old teeth and such. I got a 2 in my hand right now, but that's probably a little thinner than I want to go everywhere else. It's good for those little details, but I'm going to do some more. So if you're like thick over here and then you do real thin lines over here, it might look a little wonky. So I'm going to try and I use an 8, so let me use a 5. I'm going to just feather this area up a little bit. And then over here, this is going to be, this would be more in shadow. Cool. All right. Let's see here. Something like that. 2 and below is good for, like, if you want to draw some scruff. Draw the scruff on a dude's face. Could be good for that. So here's his tongue. I'm just going to do a little bit of stuff right there. Not too much. Some more scruff here. Some light scruff here. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Ain't got to go crazy. There we go. All right. I'm going to take a quick break. My wife is home, and I'm going to say goodbye because she's leaving again. But while I'm gone, please marvel and glare at this picture so far. I'm going to bring this up, and I shall return in a second. Past Master Dan, what's going on? Hey, man. Ever work with RT Bear? I have not. I have not. Well, okay. Kind of fun story. But way back in the day, gosh, this would have been kind of like early 2000s. I found him online, and this was when he was working on, what was it called? It was called, it's the one he's doing now with like kind of like the time traveling plumber looking Mr. Fix It guys. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Time. I can't remember the name. It's been a long time. Time, or you know what I'm talking about. You probably know what I'm talking about. He's still doing some stuff with that today. Anyway, I found it. And I sent him some artwork, kind of like submissions. And yeah, and he liked what I did, but it just didn't work out at the time. And so, gosh, this was even before I moved out to California and all that. So this was like super way back. And then like there's another guy, and I was like super new at everything, right? I didn't know much of anything. So very wet behind the ears. And you know, so I was just like sending artwork out. There was another book called like Archangels that I sent, you know, work to. I actually found it the other day under my bed. Let me see if I can grab it. I'll show you. You know, you save stuff. So I have like all these files. Maybe it'll be in here. Let's take a look. I feel like it's in a sketchbook, but back to the RT Bear thing. I submitted some stuff for that project. Chrono Mechanics. That's it. So I did some character drawings, you know, and I just sent them to him. And kind of the same thing with this other project where it was like, you know, I sent in artwork and they're like asking me to do this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, maybe he asked me like to ink it. And back then I wasn't really inking my work. I was just penciling stuff. So here's, I think this is Philadelphia back in the day. Some old school drawing. This was 1998. Me sketching something from Philadelphia. Some Battalion from Image Comics. Again, this is like high school stuff right here, man. Me doing character concepts. This is 96. We won't look through all this, but I think somewhere in here I found, oh, look at that. Little things for exercising. This is something I went into the book for high school. This is another dude, 1999, I think. I think this was college. All right, let me try and find, because there's so much stuff in here. Like, check out this dude. This guy's cool. This was like when I was heavily influenced by Image, right? And I'm just like drawing rad stuff and super big muscles, super small heads. Like this is where I started. That's cool. All right, see what else we got here. There's just so much stuff in here. Here's Death Wish, inspired by The Crow. And I think I did almost a whole comic, just kind of like layout thing, but super duper back in the day. So yeah, this is when I was like still finding my way with shading and everything. But I'd start things and I'd never finish. This was Death Wish again, inspired by Jim Lee's Death Blow cover. He's like on his knees, kind of doing a similar pose, but you know, so I'm just drawing what I see. Here's like a Grifter character. I love Grifter. More Grifter inspired stuff. Bam. So this is like high school. And I'm like, you know, creating a character very heavily Grifter inspired. His name is Wildfire, which one day he'll probably end up in something. Here's another small Ashcan I started drawing. He's doing a halo jump, you know. There's that. Another book. Just kind of trying to create my own comic, you know. Never really finished any of these. some characters. You can tell he's inspired by. Dun dun dun. There's this dude. So anyway, this is like, you know, inspired by image. I'm gonna make my own characters and just kind of like, you know, playing around. So this is probably during school. I'm like drawing all this cool stuff. Here's Silvera, the hunter. This is kind of cool. Every so often I might actually color something, but yeah. Okay, so what I'm looking for is not in here. Here's the cover to this. This is like a high school book we did. All right, so it's not in here. It's this folder. It's not in here. Dun, dun, dun. I'm like positive I saw it. This is Photolo. This was like an old school t-shirt company that I was like submitting designs to. It was like Jesus Freak. Kinds of cool stuff. Oh, this is my Lord of the Lord is a Warrior kind of shirt with the image on the back. There's this. I did this back in. This was more like college. This is 2004. So this was cool. So anyway, this is t-shirt designs. Blah blah blah. Girls and boys. All right, so it must be in this last one here. All right, this is cool. This was my John Romita Jr. cable homage. This was, gosh, 5th grade, 4th grade. So that was kind of funny. And then somebody scribbled on it. All right, let me see if I could find what I'm looking for here. All this to look for a piece of artwork that I'm positive I saw somewhere. Again, more comics, more characters that I created, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Wolverine. Dun, dun, dun. There's that thing. Doing a study on this cool scanner thing I used somewhere. I don't know. That was cool. But I was like, hey, I can draw that. I'm going to use that for something. Oh, man. All right, so here's the beavers. I went to a camp, and so I turned all, like, everybody into, like, some kind of superhero. That was fun. I just came across a death blow that was sweet. Gosh, I can't find what the heck I'm looking for. Dang. Look what you did, Past Master Dan. Opened up a whole can of worms. This was fun. It's like a Joe Mad type dude. The big hands and such. Okay, there it is. I found it. Woo! Some Wolverine. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, yeah. Like, is that thumb even on the right side? So this is just sketches. This is the Dueling Cavalier. This was kind of fun. This was learning to use a brush and stuff. This was college. So in our illustration class, we had to do, you know, different stuff with brushes. I think we used crow quill. Here's that death blow. There's a fun little death blow drawing I did. Dun, dun, dun. Running through the sewer, because that's where the bad guys hide. All right, so this is, so I think the same guys that did Archangel were doing like some sort of other project, and so I took that and I kind of like did my own thing, like almost like a cover illustration, you know. And I submitted this, I sent it in, they're like, oh, we like it, but, and they're like, oh, can you blah blah blah, can you do this or that? And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. What are you talking about? And it just kind of, it didn't go anywhere because I was just so wet behind the ears. I just didn't know. I didn't know the jargon. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know how to do pages to scale. I didn't know there was a scale to use and page sizes and all that. So I even submitted this for an actual page. So, you know, this is, gosh, 2000. What is this? Let me see if I can find the date. This is like early. This is 2004. So yeah, this is before I moved out to California. But you know, tons of hatching and, you know. All right, there's a pretty decent face there. That's kind of like, eh. But you can see where I was and where I've come. But so yeah, so just like this, I submitted stuff to ArtTBear back in the day, and it just never went anywhere. Here's another kind of sketch I did. So I had some skills, but I did not know how to. Oh, this looks like it was inked. So I inked this, but pencils to inks. I mean, this was the pencil version, and then I inked it, and it was just kind of like, not quite as cool. Definitely got a lot better at inking, but I mean, you can see that's just like there's so much going on right there. Very rough. So, dun dun dun. All right, so here's like a preliminary sketch on this cover. Or this might have been me inking it. I don't know. And look, I'm inking like super small. I'm like, what am I doing? So anyway, everything fell apart from that point on because I couldn't. And this was for Kahaba Productions, Eternal Studios. So there's a sketch, cover sketch. Here's kind of more tight pencils. Dun dun dun. Brown. So it's not horrible. It's just I just didn't know how to finish. I think that was my big thing. And then like shading, I wasn't the best at shading. So you know, still had a ways to go on my storytelling as well, panel layouts and all that. All right, and there's a bunch of stuff. This was learning. This was back in college using probably Illustrator. Ends Empire. Oh, this was fun. I had this picture and I like, yeah. So yeah, we were learning to use Photoshop and all kinds of stuff. So drawing little different pictures and photo manipulation, all that good stuff. So anyway, all that to say, yes, I kind of sort of worked with ArtTBear. And then, you know, more recently, gotten to know him a little bit more through YouTube and stuff. And he's had me on, but we've never actually worked together. Just has not worked out. I wanted him to do so if you remember the Shadow Sentry, the Cable #1 homage, I wanted him to do that cover for me. I was like, hey, Art, can you do a Cable #1 homage of with my characters? And he was so busy, it just didn't work out. So I was hoping we'd get to do something together, like a collab or whatever. Or I was like, hey, can you ink this for me? And that didn't work out either. So anywho, there you go. There's my long answer. And then there's a bunch of stuff I found under my bed. Dun, dun, dun. Come on, get out there. So there you go. But I'll forever remember this X-Force pick. I was like so proud of myself. Like, yeah, I drew a cool JRJR Cable pick. So yeah, it wasn't tracing. It was just looking at it, and obviously it's half the size, but just looking at that picture and drawing it. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane. Early roughs, but you were ahead though. Ahead in rendering. Yeah, I think I lacked the you know, I didn't have anybody to kind of like teach me, you know. So with the people I was talking to, they were kind of thinking I might have been had a little more know-how than I actually did, and so that kind of hurt me, I think. I had the drawing skill, but just not the you know, maybe like the final production ideas, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah. But I do remember, you know, back in the day I was talking Art, and he liked my drawings that I did, but for whatever reason it just didn't work out. Maybe availability too, because I was like working, you know, a job at like a dinette shop or something, and you know, maybe he had a deadline and I wasn't able to help him out with. I don't remember, it's so long ago, but that's my ArtTBear story. All right, let me do another vein here. So, but then, you know, fast forward to 2005, not too much later, but I actually moved to California, right? Got married in 2005, and then started my internship with Alias Comics / Lamppost Publications. And, you know, I met Mike Miller, and then he was a mentor who like showed me the ropes and like, you know, kind of taught me all the stuff I was probably lacking, you know? So then I learned, yeah, just so much stuff from that and doing that internship. Learned how to use Clip Studio, which back in the day was Manga Studio, but I learned how to use that. I was using Manga Studio to do like all the background focus lines and, you know, motion lines and all that stuff with Hand of the Morning Star. So yeah, that was a big help. Actually having someone, you know, take you under their wing, teach you all that stuff that, you know, you just don't know. You just don't know. So very helpful. Very helpful. But yeah, it was always funny to me because, you know, Mike, he kind of like hated the West Coast style, like all the cross hatching and stuff. Like, you know, like Jim Lee was probably like his least favorite artist, and here I'm like this new guy, and it's like I love Jim Lee. It's like I want to draw like Jim Lee, and he's probably like, whatever. Let me break you, Jim Lee. I will show you a better way, and I'm like fighting against it, like, no, this is the best way ever. So for a time, I did like my style kind of changed a little bit, and I did, which was good because I focused more on structure and anatomy, and I didn't focus on all the cross hatching and shading as much, and so I just got to focus on the character and the yeah, just like how to draw a good character, focus on my expressions and all that stuff. So it was helpful, and now I'm back to drawing like Jim Lee. I took a good detour. So yeah. So now when I draw, it's like, you know, I have a little bit more know-how for drawing the figure, not just the figure, but structure. And, you know, structure is a big thing that Mike taught me. It's probably the number one thing I learned from him. Structure. Okay. Let me take a step back here. Let me see where I'm at. What do I need to do? I still need to do his hair. All right. Almost halfway done. Where are we at on time? 1 hour. All right, so now we're at like 3 hours and 15 minutes. My prediction is this will take about, I'm going to say 5.5 to 6 hours. So we'll see. We'll see. And where did my pen go? There it is. Okay. I went back to inking and Clip Studio. At least practice on pencil work and pages. Yeah, I'm not great at digital inking. But I mean, I do like kind of more like touch-ups and stuff with the digital inking, but I'm not at a point where I'm ready to just kind of get rid of the traditional stuff. Not there yet. Maybe one day. We shall see. We shall see. All right, so dang it. Keep dropping my pens. I'm going to put a strap here. I'm going to draw a thing here, and I'm going to draw another one here. Just popping out there. Now we got to draw the shirt underneath here. But yeah, a lot of people use Clip Studio for their comic work and stuff. Back then, I only really learned to do the focus lines and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm just much more comfortable doing traditional inks. So whatever I do digitally, it's just kind of like touch-ups and fixing junk I messed up on. All right, so I'm just gonna play with this. Got a bit of a tangent there. So I talked about different textures and stuff. So I'm definitely doing something a little different here. He's wearing a t-shirt, so I'm just kind of doing something a little different. And I didn't really draw much here, so I'm just kind of feeling my way through, which is all right. It's all right. I'm going to keep my lines a little more further apart, I guess. And but over here, I'm going to draw like a, this is going to be more in shadow, so I'm going to go dark to light. So I'm going to go something like that. All right. Found somewhere I could put some more white out. I'm going to do that right here. Pick those lines out. Just throw another hole there. Why not? Okay. Let me get back closer here. Kind of zoomed out a bit. All right, so I'll have to feel my way around there and figure what I'm going to do there for the shirt, but I want to do something a little bit different. So that works so far. Let me do his hair so I can kind of finish up on the upper part, and then I'll just move down below. Hopefully this goes quicker, but I don't know. We'll see. It could not. It might not. We'll have to see. But I do think this, so there's a robot back here. He's going to kind of be, his lower half is going to be in silhouette. I don't know if you see that. So here's his knee coming through. His legs kind of bent coming down here. And then here's a robot hand, his arm, and then his leg. So he's in the background. So he's going to be silhouetted from this point down. Yeah. So anywho, let's finish his hair. So a lot of this is going to be in shadow. And I don't know if any of you guys are going to the LA Comic-Con, but they just released table assignments. So I'm going to be near Artist Alley in booth 229. So if you're going, hit me up. I will be there. So yeah, it's actually a really nice spot. So with some of the shows, it's like hit or miss, man. You might get a really good spot, or you might be like tucked in the back and ain't nobody gonna find you. But I actually complained this year because I'm like, they release your booth space. You know, they'll tell you, okay, here's the map. This is where you're at, and but you can request like a change, right? So I wrote them real quick. I'm like, hey, can you move me like over here, blah blah blah. And I with that email, I wrote into them. I'm like, guys, like every year I literally write into you, can you change my booth space? And like they never respond back. So I'm like, come on guys, like help me out. What are you doing over here? And he got back to me and he's like, all right, I'm gonna see what I could do and I'll get you in this spot here. And it was like a really good spot on the corner right in front of Artist Alley. And yeah, unfortunately I can't do Artist Alley anymore because I have so much stuff. And with Artist Alley you get like depending on the show, you might get a 4-foot table, you might get a 6-foot table, but they're pretty small, right? So I do the 10 by 10, and I roll up with all my stuff. So I need more space. I need to stretch out. And now with doing Shadow Sentry, like I need my books out, and because before it was always just prints and you know, commissions. Now I got tons of metal prints, and it's got so much stuff. So more stuff you got, more space you need. So I'm doing the 10 by 10. So if you're there, hit me up. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Let's see here. Kind of just picking this apart here. But yeah, I've speaking of RT Bear, I've met him numerous times. He's usually, well, I say usually, this is before he moved, but he was always at WonderCon, which I was at, and for a bit I was in Artist Alley and he was in Artist Alley, so I'd make it a point to go see him every year. In fact, I bought a few prints from him, and then I got home and I couldn't find them, which is horrible. It happens because, you know, I'm there, I'm tabling, and I've got all my stuff, right? And so then I pack up and I put it somewhere probably, and I lost them. But I was so mad. It was his awesome cable, and then I think it was like a Wonder Woman, and I lost him. I was so mad. Still have not found him. It's possible. No, I don't think someone stole him. I mean, it's possible I left him. Because I mean, it's been years and I still haven't come across them. And if I had him, I'm sure I probably would have come across them at some point. But I don't know, man. I still get upset with myself. I lost my RT Bear prints, signed and all. How could I do it? How could I do such a thing? Okay. I feel like his hair is kind of like a little more wild than normal. Let me see. Here's a picture. Yeah, it's how his hair is. It's crazy and wispy. Getting a little crazier than normal on his hair. But dun, 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 dun. All right. All right, so let's see. I've got this one. This needs to come down here. I think I'm just gonna there. There we go. All right. So eventually, this will all be black. So shoulder. Yep, that's not gonna pop up there. Yeah. So I got this dude over here. What I need to do is go back into, speaking of cable number 1 homage, there it is. Let me show you. This is the After RT Bear, colored by Carbon Graphics. But I'm getting this image from here. This is Gannon, Deke, Cogent, and then here's one of my favorite picks there. Let's get rid of this. So He wanted Gannon from issue number 1. This is where they're in the combat training room. Fighting these droids. So I wanted to see what these droids look like. Kind of get a little more spot on. Did kind of like the generic droid. Not super crazy. But I did add some buzzsaw droids and stuff. Very Cyber Force-esque. It was fun. There's Deke crashing through the dude. I think this was these were my favorite panels from the book. This was fun, doing this big double page spread kind of shot. That was cool. And then just the fighting. This was fun. This was like, yeah, couldn't wait to get to this point and show these guys fighting. So anyway, I want to see what I did with these droids. Faces. I might just do whatever. Yeah. But anywho, it's all right. It doesn't have to be exact. Just do something cool. That makes sense. Kind of like Wildcats, Brigade, excuse me, Cyber Force. Yes, all of the above. All of the above. I like them all. They're all cool. So let's see. Yeah, I think, I mean, you know, tell me what you guys think. Those of you who are like loving the 90s and getting all the books and stuff. I think it was just so cool because, you know, for the first time in a, you know, all right, well, okay. There were the other comic companies, right? You had Valiant, you had Malibu. So you did have some other companies, right? But, you know, when Image came out, you had some new characters to look at, right? So everybody was used to X-Men. You know, we've been looking at Wolverine forever. And then along come these guys and they're doing their own stuff. And they got some cool characters, other cool characters, you know. And these other companies were doing other, you know, books and stuff. I remember, what was that one big dude? He was jacked. Was it Mr. Universe? No. I don't know. It kind of came out in the 90s too. I can't remember his name. It wasn't Power Man. Anyway, it was just jacked dude with maybe like a symbol on his chest. Anyway, you know, so it was awesome seeing Warblade and Ripclaw, you know, and then you had like the Youngblood team, and just like Rob Liefeld created so many characters, you know, so it was just neat and interesting. I think that was kind of the appeal. Like, it's like we're seeing all these cool new characters, you know, you got some new stories by these awesome creators, and it was just fun. It was like, you know, we got something other than Wolverine and Colossus and Beast and all those guys we were used to, which we loved, but I'm just saying it's, you know, it was new, it was fun, it was an exciting time. So maybe that was part of the appeal too. But yeah, I ate up all those books, Savage Dragon, you know, but yeah, Dale Keown's Pit. Oh, that was, dude, like, come on, man. Like, you know, a character other than the Hulk. You know, a lot of these characters were kind of like ripoffs, right? You know, Warblade, Ripclaw, ripoffs of Wolverine, but they were cool, man. They were cool. So anyway, those are my thoughts. And I just loved the creator own passion. You know, it was like they're doing their own stuff now, so they have more invested, and they're just like, you know, it was awesome. It was a cool time to be in the comics. Say what you will about the 90s, but it was cool. It was super inspiring for me, man. It's a young artist. Again, I didn't know too much of the marketing and, you know, how the 90s kind of like the trading cards. It was just kind of like, what's the term? Saturating the market, with all this stuff and printing enormously high quantities and volumes. And, I didn't care about that. I wanted me some comics. And I literally had a comic book store. Like, first it was down the road. I had to ride my bike to it, but then they moved and they were literally right across the street from my house. We kind of lived on a business street, but then when you went down the side street, it became residential. But it was called Route 33. So it was more of a main drag, not quite a highway, but more of a main road. And so a lot of the buildings and stuff were like businesses on the front side. But then once you get back behind them, you're all in the residential. So it was like perfect, because then here comes this comic book company or comic book shop. And I was like, I had to walk literally across the street and I can get to a comic book shop. So I was loving life. That's when the 90s hit. And I was like, buying up a bunch of books felt like every week. Somehow I had money. I did a comic book. I did a paper route, right? So I had some kind of money to buy my own stuff, and my parents didn't care. I'm trying to think if I did anything with their mouth. Should I worry about it? I don't know. Anywho, so yeah, it was a fun time, man. And now that I think about it, the comic book shop, they moved from this little tiny place to a bigger store. And so, I wonder if things were so good for them at the time that they were able to, like, let's upgrade, man. We're going to go get this bigger shop, better location. They were probably making more money. They probably didn't care. So yeah. And they sold like baseball cards and all that stuff too. It wasn't just comics, but it was like a collector's store. But yeah, man, I was stoked. It's like literally right across the street. And so I'd be picking up pretty much. I picked up the Max. I got Pitt. Even though I didn't read it or love it, I got, was it Silverhawk? Or no, it was Jim Valentino's book. I want to say Skyhawk. Was it Skyhawk? I don't even remember. But literally every book that Image was coming out with, I was just buying left and right. And I bought all the Spawn issues, and I never read them because I was like so focused on Youngblood and kind of like the more superhero team books. And then I ended up selling them off to a kid in high school. And then years later, I was like reintroduced to Spawn. I'm like, oh man, why did I get rid of these? And then I went back and I bought them all again. I had like 1 to 15 or something, and ended up selling the whole run. I think I sold them for, I don't know if we traded for baseball cards. I don't know what we did, but I feel like I was stupid. Why did I do that? Spawn was fun. Yeah. And then when Greg Capullo started working on Spawn, I was like, I got more interested again. Started reading again, some Spawn. All right. Special Edgar, what's up, man? Hi, how's it going? This art looks amazing. Thank you, man. Much appreciated. Yep. Good time indeed. Yeah. Oh, sorry, buddy. I just kicked my dog. I didn't know you're down there, man. You're a little chihuahua, and you're black, and you're hiding on my floor. I can't see you. I'm going to do more over here, but I don't know what yet, so I'm just going to move on. We're moving on. Let's do his belts. Yeah, man. So Image put it out. I was sucking it up. I was buying it. And I mean, books back then were $1.50. Eventually they went to like $2.50, $2, but early on they were $1.50. Maybe cheaper. I'm trying to think. That was so long ago. Yeah, I want to say $1.50 was what was like the price point when Image came out. Something like that. Well, all right. So I got a picture of Image or X-Men number 3. So that was 92-ish, right around that same time. That's $1. So I think when Image came out, the books went up to $1.50. So, yeah, man, as a kid, $10, I could buy you, a good handful of books. So yeah, man. Remember those days? Books were $1.50. Then they went up to $2.50, and yeah. That was fun. I do appreciate McFarlane. You know, his books are still pretty cheap and reasonable, but I'm mad at him, man. Using that AI art after he said he wasn't going to do it for the art contest. Bro made me mad. I'm still bitter. All right, so let's see. Let's draw some pouches. Y'all ready for some pouches? Pouches time. All right, so his body is turning. So his butt is sideways. His chest is turning. So his belly button is going to be over here. I think my phone is ringing. Is my phone ringing? I hear a vibrating sound. Hold on one second. My wife could be calling. Where is my phone? Oh, it's covered by this pile of folders that past Master Dan made me get. It's not your fault. Oh, nice. I ordered X-Force versus Youngblood, and it has arrived. It is in my mailbox. I really want to go get it right now. Wouldn't that be fun? Look at that. I think it's Stephen Platt. So someone posted, my man, Terry Sala. He's got 90s Comics Strike Back on Facebook, and he posted some pictures of X-Force Youngblood, like a crossover that they did back in the day. And I don't own it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks so cool. I want it. So I went on eBay and I grabbed it, and it is now in my box. Should I go get it? Do you guys mind waiting for like 5 minutes while I run over to the box? What do you think? What do you think? Do you want to see it? Tell me. I love random pouches. Capullo run was great. You could buy it. Yes, you could. That sounds insane, I know, but yes, you could, man. Yes, you could. And then recently I also got, so here, let's pause again. It's comic book time. So I found out, now you could buy huge omnibuses. So here's the compendium. This is, this collects 1, 2, let's see. Here's Capullo, talking about Capullo. It's got some great stuff, man. This collects, does it tell you? Doesn't even tell you. Presents the stories and artwork that help create the Spawn legacy for the first time in color. Oh, here you go. Collect Spawn 1 to 50. So this is 1 to 50. Yeah, man. Lots of reading to do. But this looks like Capullo right here. Yeah, yep, that's definitely Capullo, man. This is when he started working on it. So that was like early on, I feel like. But that looks like Todd McFarlane. That looks like McFarlane. That looks like McFarlane. This looks like Capullo. A little bit different style there. I think that's definitely a Capullo face. So, oh yeah, that's definitely Capullo. Ha! Oh man, this thing brings back memories. Check that out. That's cool. Just so rad. The 90s were awesome, man. I don't care what anybody says. But okay, that's probably Todd McFarlane. That's not Capullo yet. But over here, he hops in, and it's cool seeing that blend of like Todd McFarlane / Capullo. That's fun. Then this dude, he was cool. He's awesome. Yeah, man. Good stuff. So anyway, yeah, I picked this up a while ago. I need to read through it because, I have a lot of these issues. That was cool. But now I could read all of them, the ones that I missed. Then I also picked up this. This is the Savage Dragon Archives, but this is in actually black and white. So you get to check out Eric Larson in black and white, which I always really liked his style. And he had a little little bit different flair to his art, you know, from like, it's similar, but it's a little different, you know, but I always kind of digged his, just, you know, his inking style, just kind of like a little more rough. So yeah, I wanted to get this and check it out. The early Savage Dragon stuff was just so cool. Just one dude taking on all these superhero monsters and stuff and just kicking A. It's awesome. Like, just super cool. So anyway, some recent, not super recent, but some stuff I picked up, early Image. So yeah, fun stuff. Oh yeah, and you even got the Savage Dragon and the Ninja Turtles. He did I think a 2-issue run where it was like Savage Dragon and Ninja Turtles. Check this out. This is cool. Yeah, this was cool. Seeing Eric Larson draw some Ninja Turtles, that was fun. Ninja Turtles, Savage Dragon. So, yeah. This is cool. Leo flying in there, chopping off his gun. Good stuff. All right, we can look at that all day long. Boop. All right. Is this art for yourself, or were you hired like Deadpool? Kind of hired, yeah. So I did my crowdfunding campaign for Shadow Sentry, and one of the backers got an 11x17 original part of his perk, and so this is it. This is what I'm working on. This is my character Gannon, and yeah. So there you go. All right, so I'm not going to run to the mailbox. No one said go get that Youngblood X-Force by Stephen Platt. Very tempting, but I won't. We'll work a little bit more, and I'm going to take a break anyway because it's been an hour and 30 minutes. But let's draw some pouches. Let's finish this up. Let's see here. All right. So my artistic brain, let me tell you what I'm thinking. I said artistic, not autistic. Could be a little bit of both. But so, you know, you got this line here, the bottom of his arm. Got this line here. I don't want to go. I want to put a diagonal line in here, right? Because if everything's kind of going the same direction, it's not quite as interesting, right? And then these will be up and down. So I kind of want to break the monotony there. So that's why I want to know where his shirt stops and his belt starts. So I'm going to put that there. This is a strap that's going to come over here. This strap is going to be 3-dimensional, right? So I'm going to make sure I don't do, I draw like the side of it too. So it's like creeping in over there. Like I said, so his back of his shirt should be over here. And then pouch, right? So pouch sticking off. It's kind of going off the back. And if I really want to break up this monotony, I'm going to draw like another diagonal line or something, or maybe like the pouch goes, it's not just straight across like normal. It'll go diagonal. Maybe I got to think about that. How am I going to do that? Or maybe it's not a pouch. Maybe it's like a holster or something. I don't know. We can make it up. Whatever looks cool. So we're going to throw in. All right, I'm just going to start throwing in some lines. Blocking out my shapes. If it's cloth, I'm going to make it fold in spaces and all that good stuff. This could be something different than everything else. All right. And then, I could throw in a cool belt buckle. I remember Matt Costin did an awesome piece for me. I did some, we did a drawn and quartered show. And then some of the artists like Matt Costin and Elliot Fernandez, they gave me their artwork and I made trading cards out of them. And he drew the sweet belt buckle. Costin did an awesome job on Gannon. So I could do a belt buckle in there besides pouches, you know, do some other stuff. Break it up. All right, so let me draw. Okay, so got this strap. This is coming up over here. Dun, dun, dun. Get the folds in the pants, creases and such. Dun, dun, dun. Something like that. So let's take a step back. Let's look at this. So, bum, bum, bum. You kind of see how this starts to look a little chunky, like. So I want to break it up a bit. I just don't want these chunks just chilling in this little space. You can see it's kind of starting to happen, which, I mean, it's not horrible. It's just my brain is just saying, like, no, you don't. It's kind of like tangents, right? You don't want all this stuff going the same direction. You want to break it up. And the one easy way to break up tangents is to go at a crisscross, go at a diagonal from those lines. So a lot of times, most of the time, you'll get tangents when it's like you got background objects and it just intersects at a weird way, and it's going exactly as, you know. So if there's a line this way and it's like it looks like it can continue from here all the way up, it's a tangent, right? So you want to avoid that, and the best way is to like draw lines that go diagonal from the character, whatever's in the foreground. So like here, it's coming off here. You know, this isn't starting right here off the end of this barrel or this sight. That would be a tangent, right? So, and then you got this funky stuff going on in here where it's like, you know, you want to break up the monotony of what's going on. Just kind of crisscross it. I could draw some pouches hanging down from here. You know, if there's something coming over here, draw some pouches. More pouches, 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 pouches. I could do something that's bigger, kind of coming off here if I wanted. That could be in silhouette. And then you got more pouches coming off here. So anyway, whatever you could do to break it up, you know, draw. All right, I'm going to put in a diagonal here. Why, I don't know, but I'm going to do it just to break it up. I could look at reference. What are some things I could do? Or I could just flub it. So I'm going to do something like this. You know, it's got like a pack of cigarettes like hanging out here, just attached through this little strap. I don't know. But there you go. Some diagonal lines. And do a little buckle here. Draw some buttons. Buttons help. Buttons around pouches. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so here. I'm stuck over here. Let's get a little closer here. Bam. And the folds can be diagonal, so I can do some different stuff there. That kind of creeping over. Different textures. Something like that. There's 1,000,001 ways to draw a pouch, right? So okay. This is going to be mainly in shadow. Where's my black marker. So we're going to draw some stuff in silhouette over here. Okay, so kind of see what I'm doing here. Take a look. Hold on. All right, let me look on the screen. Sometimes looking at the screen versus here, because I'm at a bad angle. But if I hold it up straight, I kind of get a better view. So let me look at what I see on the camera here. Stay right there. Let me see here. All right. It's not horrible, but got this line here. Some more lines here. Yeah. It's not super horrible, but in my mind, I'm thinking like this kind of, I could make this darker here actually. Add some more shadow onto here so it sets apart what's beneath it. I mean, really, this whole area could be in shadow. Because if, just following all the other shadows I've drawn, this arm could be casting a shadow in this area. I don't know why that's just bugging me. It's bugging me. I don't know why it's bugging me. But let's go like this. We're gonna hide it. We're gonna hide it down there. Could just black it out altogether, but not gonna go there yet. Just carry the lines closer together so it's darker. All right. That kind of hides it. That sets it back a little bit. I kind of like that more. Now I can focus on this stuff. Okay, we're back in business. I like it. All right, so we're gonna do a little Matt Cosson belt buckle, inspired by the Matt Cosson. It's like a cross kind of belt buckle. Kind of make it look a little fancy, maybe. Do something like that. And then we're going to set it off with some texture. We talked about texture. Doing different textures is cool. Good way to set something off. So I'm just going to do scribbly, scrabbly lines like this and just kind of set it off. And then I'm going to do some more. Something like that. I like that. And whatever pouch is over here, we're just going to add some lines to it. This thing, whatever this is, I don't know. It's attached with an elastic strap. That's what we're going to say. It's a pouch held on by some strap. If he smoked, it'd be a pack of cigarettes. I can neither confirm nor deny that Gannon indeed smokes, but, you know. If he did, he would keep it from the rest of the team. Let me just put it that way. He'd be like smoking in the back alley, like no one knows where he's at. Where's Gannon? He's just in the back smoking. All right, let's check the chat. What we got here? Larson went downhill with his style. Yeah, Larson went downhill in a lot of ways. I don't know everything about comics, but I really like Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man art. Yeah, that was some crazy cool stuff. And the story was awesome. I remember seeing that back in the day, and I was like, whew, it's my favorite Spider-Man stuff. I remember Eric Larson did Spider-Man, which totally different, but I kind of dug that too. I'm artistic and autistic. Yeah. I don't understand how people traditionally, I know without worrying about permanent mistakes. I worry about them and I still make them. How people like work traditionally without worrying about permanent mistakes. Yeah, I mean, there's always whiteout. That's kind of my thing. I just wing it, and whiteout's my backup. So you always got whiteout. And then too, you know, sometimes if I'm working on a comic page, and if it's a real big mistake, I'll just fix it in, you know, digitally in Photoshop or whatever. So it happens. What are they holding in the pouches? Yeah, exactly, man. Well, my first go-to is always like extra clips of ammo, you know, like wouldn't you want some extra ammo? So yeah, that's, if a dude's wearing a bunch of pouches, I'm like, it's ammo, man. That's my go-to. Why is Red Hood from Batman in the background? Yeah, that's not Red Hood. It's just a robot. Very generic. I'll make him. I'm going to add more to it, but. And why do I ask so many questions? That's a good question. Why do you? I've noticed a difference in art between decades. It seems like in the 90s, or people who grew up in the 90s draw comic art a lot. Yeah. Or do you mean like they draw like the 90s a lot? Yeah, I know I do. It's just, I mean, it was a fun time to be in comics. I think the dynamics of comic book art really took off in the 90s. And the guys who did it well, you know, they started Image, and they just kind of created a whole new, what they did, I think, created a whole new, what's the term? Like a whole new generation of comic lovers in the kids that were reading them, like myself. And so I started drawing like them, right? Wanted to draw like them, picked up their the stuff they were doing, and then I did it. And so yeah, I think you have just a lot of people that were influenced by them for sure. And then the next crew that came on, you know, you had the J. Scott Campbell's, Joe Mad, I think, yeah, kind of came out of that, you know, a lot of the guys. So, you know, and I wish they were doing more actual page, you know, like comics, but they're doing covers and stuff now, or they're not doing it at all, like Joe Mad. He's doing games. But I still love that stuff. Still love their artwork. McFarlane. Well, he doesn't really draw much. He inks, but still love Jim Lee. Still love McFarlane and all those guys for sure. Yeah. I got that. Drugs and med kits in the pouches. Drugs and med kits. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I finished the pouches. I think I'm going to take a break. And yeah, just take a break. I'm going to go to the mailbox and I'm going to pick up some Youngblood X-Force by Stephen Platt and just check that out. I will fix Red Hood over here. He does look very Red Hoodish, but it's a robot. I promise. Just a robot. I'll fix that. I just got to figure out what I'm going to do there. What am I going to do with his nose? What kind of mouth do I want to do? It's a robot, so I want to do something cool, but haven't figured it out yet. But anyway, we're pretty much done the upper body. Pretty much done upper body. It's looking cool. Let's zoom out here, give you guys a peek. So yeah, working 11 by 17 is difficult. Usually I'll work small and then I blow it up and then I ink it big, which is easier. Because sometimes when you're working so big, some of the anatomy, could get wonky, or things are just a little bit bigger or smaller than they should be, or like your body's like super compressed or super elongated, which I struggle with the elongated midsection here. Like they'll just have a really big waist. That's kind of like something I struggle with a bit. But when you draw small, you could like see the whole thing. Like here's a trading card, right? Little sketch. You're drawing small, you could just see it clear, see the whole image. It's not gonna focus. But anyway, when I so I like working small and then blowing it up. But this one is just went straight to 11 by 17. So, but it's looking good so far. Hope you dig it. It's looking good, looking good. This is going to a backer from Shadow Sentry Origins. For those of you guys new here, thanks for tuning in. Give me a follow and a like or a sub on YouTube. But here's my book, Shadow Sentry. This is book 1. The link is in the description. You can get it on my website. But if you like the 90s, if you like X-Men, I tell people it's an X-Men meets the Matrix superhero team book, but with a supernatural twist. But yeah, so this was my first book I did in 2020, 2021. And I just finished the 3rd book in the series. And pretty soon the 3rd book, which is the Origins, will be on my website, but it's not yet. But you can get issues 1 and 2. They're 50-page books. This is actually 54 pages. And then book 2 is 50 or 52, one or the other. Yeah, so lots of fun stuff. Just pouring all the cool stuff that I love from comics into my own book. Lots of cross-hatching, forearms and hair. It's amazing. It's awesome. But this is Bloodbane. So anyway, I can go on and on about that, but just so you guys know, I do have a book I'm working on. Legacy Comics is my imprint, and this is the Cable #1 homage from Art T-Bear that I did. I penciled and inked it, and then colors are by Carbon Graphics. So lots of fun stuff. Angels, demons, superpowers, fun stuff. Awesome. All right, guys. I'll be back. I'm going to keep working on this either in a little bit or tomorrow, but I will see you all soon. Till then, thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Peace.